live streamed. Okay.
Again. Okay, parents, give me a minute, yeah? Okay. Is it live already? All right. Okay, I think it should be live. Yeah. Okay, so hello parents, this is Coach John here from Learning Out of the Box, and thanks so much for being with us here. And today we are going to have teacher Felicia, who specializes in helping kids score well for PSLE English. And again, for me, when I bring on guests, I'm pretty selective because I want to bring on guests who can empathize and understand the struggles that parents who teach like us are experiencing on a daily basis. Hello, teacher Felicia.
Hi, good evening, John. How are you today?
How am I today? Well, that one, I can spend the next 1 hour to tell you my ups and downs. Yeah. Okay, that one we'll leave it to after the Facebook Live.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so to add on, teacher Felicia has her own kids, yeah, and one of them is Set 1 this year. Yeah, so I think the reason why I brought her here is because she can really understand what we parents are going through, and also she can share from two perspectives, one as an educator and also one as a parent. And she is really good in finding the balance so that we parents can better support our child. Yeah, so today's topic is very much on being a PSLE parent myself, and my girl is sitting for paper this year. I can feel the anxiety. Yeah, so with only 4 months away, teacher Felicia, please help us. What are your strategies in helping your students to score well for PSLE English? Okay, back to you.
Thank you. I think this is a very crucial period because we're just about 4 months away from the PSLE English oral examination, right? And that is on top of the other 4 subjects that our kids have to handle. So parents like yourself, myself, and many others, we have to prepare for math, English, science, Chinese, plus both orals. Yes. So to actually even craft out time for practice, even for lessons with me, my students are really packed to the brim. So how can we as parents work on that so that we build their content and we build on their confidence on a daily basis? Because honestly, children at this age, who do they spend the most time with? They spend the most time with
television.
Teachers. Sorry?
With television.
Television.
With
I don't know
Netflix.
whether many of our PSLE kids actually have that privilege, because I think many of them actually have to sacrifice TV, especially in the later half of the year. Honestly, they don't have time for tuition for those with supportive parents. But I have to admit that, yes, my daughter still gets to watch TV. I think they need to de-stress somehow as well. Yes. So how can we do that on a daily basis, right? It's really not done overnight. If we haven't been practicing or they haven't had that practice, I think it's still not too late. However, if you wait till just a couple of weeks before, then of course the results will not be as good. So it is important to start now. 4 months, May, June, July, August. In fact, maybe 3 months, 3 full months. 3 full months is 12 weeks. And 12 weeks, we have, even from the oral books, let's say we have 20 topics, right? In order to cover a good range of content, you can use about 2 topics a day with any one of all these books, and even any content that you can find on the website. Honestly, I don't think finding materials or content is a problem in today's world, because information is abundant, right? At the end of the day, how do we connect and how do we deliver? So that's where myself and parents come in. And that's why I always have parents coming in towards nearing to the exam to come in, sit in with me, either physically or on Zoom, because my kids, they come from all parts of Singapore, and many of them do not live close by. Plus, with COVID, we have stuck to Zoom. But now that the economy has opened up, I'm really looking forward to see my students face to face. Yes, I think that plays a part as well. Yes, so moving on, what can be done? I think we can follow a very simple framework called PETS. P-E-T-S-S. So the big P is the part that I play and the part that school teachers play, which is to practice. I know that many parents like yourself, John, will ask me, how do I practice with my kids? I think the key is content. So on parents' part, what you can practice is recap experiences over dinner. You know, your kids, your primary 6 kid is out of the house until 5, 6 o'clock every day. The only time you get to speak to them is during dinner time. Make that count. And if you make every dinner time count, that will be 12 weeks of dinner time. And if each dinner you can recap an experience that you spend together as a family, ask about their day, what are some of the common topics? Very, very simple daily kind of activities or topics. So you can ask how are they getting along with their friends? What do they enjoy most about Chinese New Year celebration, Christmas celebration, birthday celebrations? Why is it important to them? What is their favorite memory of the last vacation that they had? Maybe they just took it recently, now that we are all able to fly and travel, right? So I think it's important to make conversations because honestly, anything can be thrown at them during the PSLE examination. It can be any topic, and it will certainly not be any of the topics that have previously been tested of late. It is good for you also as parents to buy the past year papers and practice the oral topics so that your kids get a feel of the actual exam paper. Because honestly, in my opinion, all these topics here, they are a lot heavier than what they will have to face for the PSLE exams. And yet many of them are thrown off guard. Sometimes I wonder, is it because the questions are, in their opinion, so simple that they are wondering, why asking me what time I wake up? Right? Like last year's question, for example. Okay, so I tell my students, because this week is their oral exam, please practice common sense as well. So P is practice, and as a teacher, I am there to give them feedback and fine tune. And how do I do that? I actually get my students to record, and I will go through with them in a group, and if need be, one-on-one, on how to rephrase. Now, some of the very common things that students do is to repeat their answer. So they will say, yes, I enjoy going for holidays. The most enjoyable holiday I had was to Japan. Japan is a very beautiful country. And then they'll da-da-da-da-da, and then I like Japan because it is very beautiful. So they keep repeating. And when they hear themselves, and we practice on fine-tuning and refining the sentence so that it's accurate and succinct, then they get it, oh, I have been so long-winded repeating myself. Yes? So PETSS, just now that I'm touching on this, one of the S is keep it short and sweet. Because being too long-winded also, it distracts your listener and they lose interest. So especially for shy students who feel like they don't have a lot to say, usually, right? Keep it short, sweet, and yeah, it will sound really professional on their part, how they present their answers. Short doesn't mean lousy. When you go, or, and then you, and then long pauses, right? It takes up time. It's a long answer, but that doesn't mean it's a good answer. Yes, so keep it short and sweet. And also for today, I'm also practicing to speak slowly, much slower than I usually do. Because when we speak slowly, then we can process and think. So I think as parents, it's really tough for us to zoom in and say, girl, you're speaking too fast. Can you slow down? Because if I tell my daughter that, she'll be like, hiya, why you don't understand what I'm saying? All my friends can understand. How come you cannot understand what I'm saying? I won't speak like that. All my friends speak like that, you know? And then they speak so quickly because they're so excited to tell you and share with you. Right? And so it's a teacher's place to tell the child, you know, Ashley, well, I know that you're a very intelligent girl, but if you speak slowly, you'll be even more impressive because you'll be able to digest what you just say. And pauses are essential in putting a point across, especially if it's an important one. Yes. And therefore, I think that's where coaches like us, we step in to fine-tune and also to practice. So parents, please build the content, because the content of what they're gonna say largely has to do with you and teachers and friends in school. You know, at 12 years old, who else do they have contact with? Right? So parents really do play a part in recapping that content, having conversations.
And I really like the parts that you say about the contents and having conversation. And parents, imagine yourself, if you do talk to your children every day and with 12 weeks to go, in fact, I think, okay, let's do some quick math here. 1 month, that's like 5 days, right? Okay, assuming you only speak to your child on 4 days, and then times across 4 weeks, 16, and times 4, 64. Yeah, you have actually practiced with your child 64 times compared to just having probably like if go for tuition or having practice in school, that will be like 1 or 2 times a day, a week. Yeah, so can you imagine the compound effects that you are giving to your kid? Yeah.
Yes. If you want to become more organized, if you want to be a very organized parent, I'm not exactly very organized, you can actually have a checklist of topics, go through the past year papers, have the checklist of the topics, and then tick them off. So it's a conscientious effort every day, maybe to just take a look and then make it part of the conversation. And then give your child input as an adult as well, because our worldview is much wider. As children, their worldview is, of course, narrower in terms of life experiences. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, just bear in mind that I think as parents, something that I'm very mindful as well, that's we do not bring our best friend that's called a mobile phone onto the dining table, because that will somehow may distract us from the conversation. Yeah, and also I think as a parent myself, just to share also, I try to avoid from like asking how's your marks, bring the marks topic onto the table. Yeah, and then somehow if you're not careful, the child may feel like he's being judged because of not meeting the expectation. Yeah, so I think topics selection wise, as parents, you are the best person to talk about what interests your child most lah. Yeah.
Can I just add to that, John? I
Yes,
totally
go ahead.
agree.
You're the expert
because
here.
parents always ask me, Teacher Felicia, what can I do? Right? How do I practice? And then I will honestly tell you that as a parent, if I were to correct my child's English, she will take it personally and get offended. Or it might be a blow to her ego. So depending on the relationship, being teenagers, some might actually feel like, you know, Mom, I'm always not good enough. Why are you picking on me? You know, when am I ever good? And now you're picking on my grammar. I can't even speak properly, right? So the purpose of communicating and building on content is to build a beautiful relationship as well. Now, if you feel that your teenager is not receiving your feedback very well, because we are anxious, right? We want them to do well. Every parent wants the best. Honestly, who is so free to go and tell another person's child, or your grammar this and that, and why are you saying this? And because we all love our children and we want the best. However, being a parent, we do take a more commanding tone. And after a long day in school, they might or might not take well to it. Yeah. So to have a good conversation is more important than getting the sentences grammatically correct. Perhaps you can leave that to professionals like us Or you can also go on to YouTube. There are several videos on TED Talks. I think those are very useful. It's good to give our children some exposure to how good speakers present their topics and how they carry themselves, so that they have an idea, because our children need a lot of modeling. Yes.
Yes,
So in fact, I think, sorry, yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Put that in as part of the routine, because who else better to learn from than all these professional speakers who speak to a big audience. Yes, and they have been very properly trained. So in fact, with so much on the internet, so much information and good information, really, coaches like us, we are there to guide the children and to help them to deliver, because content-wise, it can be found on the internet, lots and lots of it. Yeah, so with just 4 months left, then the question is, what can Coach John do for my child? What can Coach Felicia do for my child in terms of building confidence as well as delivering that content? Yeah.
Yes, and I totally agree with that. Yeah, maybe I just chip in a bit. Yeah, parents, I think whenever you get help or you have your own kid, I think you got to set an intention. I think something that is very powerful that I myself also practice, that like before I sit down with my child or before I start my class, right? Like for some of you who send your kid to me for maths classes, in fact, when I start off a class, I do not just jump in like that. I really ask myself, so what is the intention of today's lesson? Yeah, is it to gain traction from past practice, or is it to motivate the child, or is it to practice? Yeah, because okay, like back to today's English topic, as you can see, I'm also learning how to speak properly as well, and I get exceptionally nervous when I interview English teacher. Because I'm very mindful of the English that I'm saying. Later, a lot of strike. My grammar also not very good.
Oh yes, that's something I want to touch on, John. Very important. Intention. Don't worry. Intention. Today I just had oral class with my group of students. This week is their oral exam. My intention today is not to fine-tune their grammar. My intention today is to build their confidence. No matter what comes out from their mouth, I'm going to tell them, good job, well done, you spoke well. Because it's not a time to tell them that, hey, your grammar needs fixing. Because if they've only been with me for 2 months and they've been talking like that their whole life, how can I expect them to turn around? But what can I do today for this week's exam? I built their confidence, and I told them the PETS framework. I say you have practiced with me much more than those of your friends who did not get this sort of practice, weekly practice. So you should be confident, right? Next, please do not expect that the topic is something that you know. Please expect that it is something that you have never seen before, because there can be 1,000,001 topics, and you are ready because you have practiced. PETS, PETSST, I told them today, think positively, right? So like yourself, you're like, oh no, it's so stressful to talk to Felicia. And it happens, right? As a student, I'm also like, oh, it's so stressful. I can't take the math exam. I'm really bad at math, I must tell you, John. Yes, but you are so wonderful at teaching. When you taught it, I could understand. And I thought, hey, if John was there when I was in primary school, I think my math would have been a lot better. Because you taught it in such an effective way, it's so clear. Even just listening with Ashley, I could get what you're saying. Yes. So think positively. So you know what's their favorite phrase? Die already. Today is very stressful. I don't know. I'm very nervous. I'm very scared. Fail already lah. Yes. And then today I told them, no saying such words to yourself, because you are self-sabotaging yourself. I said, you will repeat after me. And I said, let's repeat. I have practiced and worked hard, and I'm confident for the exam this week, right? I will do my best, and I will try my best. So we don't want them to say these to their friends. So if we keep reminding them 4 months before the exam, stop saying these negative things to yourself, because your words carry weight. And if you keep saying them, they will come true. Just like If you keep saying positive things, then positive and good things will happen to you. Right? And it's really silly. Why is it that you have practiced for so many weeks and you keep telling yourself that you're set up for failure? It doesn't make sense at all.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, mind if I jump in? Yeah, parents, just before we move on to the last segment, which is, I think it's a very important part on building confidence. Yeah. And again, why I want teacher Felicia to share about the confidence building is because I think our children do not lack content. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? Yeah, the school is putting them with worksheets, notes. You can just see the piles of extra notes that you could have printed for your children, and also whenever there's a popular sale, probably you're just like me, then you just go and buy, and then because it's like on discount. Yeah. So I think if you take a step backward, if content is the one that contributes to marks progression, then shouldn't we be just getting a child to do more books, do more questions, and then their marks can only go up because the quantity of the questions will go up and not down. Yeah. So as I'm teaching my own kid and also having taught many P6s across the years, I realized that confidence is the one that I think not many parents know how to manage. And for those parents who are with us right now, and I assume that you are also like Felicia and myself, very hands-on parents teaching our own kids, supporting them, not just in academic but also in confidence building, just like me, so that I know you are here and we want to support you as well. Yeah. So teacher Felicia, could you share a bit more on confidence building? Because I can totally resonate with you when you say that I'm gonna die, as in like like Chinese we
the
say
Singaporean thing.
die liao. Yeah, or I want to fail already. Yeah, okay. Sad to say, I also hear it from my own kids as well, and my heart's actually broke into like multi pieces. Yeah, so I think I really want you to share. So how can you actually get a child to up the confidence, not just in himself, but also in building up the marks, or maybe best of the both worlds in tandem as well?
Yeah, I think this last part I would like to reinforce. So increasingly a popular way of questioning is, do you prefer reading a book, or do you prefer listening to a podcast, for example? Right? Do you prefer to travel, or do you prefer to spend time at home, maybe? Right? Do you prefer eating at a hawker center or a restaurant? So we realize that these are becoming more and more common kind of questions, this preference kind of question. And like you said, how do we build confidence in our children? Now, what do you notice about many Singaporeans and even our children? Hey, what do you want to eat? Anything, lor? Right? How do you feel today? Okay. How was your day? Good. Where is the opinion? Where is the preference? So if children, they don't learn to think and say how they are feeling or what they prefer or like, then they don't know that, hey, I do have these opinions. I am an individual with my own thoughts. Right? So what we can do is, maybe John, when you have a conversation with your daughter, what kind of preference, kind of questions do you like to ask her? About food or life or friends?
Okay, I won't deny the fact that I get also one or two word answers from my kids. Yeah, what helps me is I do a lot of disclosure, meaning that I share more so that my children can model after me, and then they share more as well once they have something that resonates with them. Like for example, I will share with them like what happened to me when I was a child in school. Then they'll say, yeah lor, this is what happened to me then. As they started to share, I slow down, I cut back on my sharing. I let them share more. So it's something like,
wonderful.
Like you can say that I trick them to sharing, but I think I pace them.
Yes.
Yeah, then getting them once they are on their own, I cut down on my pace. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So maybe even music, right? Maybe we can ask, hey, you guys, you like all the K-pop music, right? So do you like K-pop music or do you prefer classical piano pieces? Then they'll say, don't know, such a boring topic, right? Which kid will want to answer? Or those who are into K-pop, they would. And so as parents, like you mentioned, I think that was a very good sharing that you just you shared with us. So let's say if our kid keeps quiet, then we share our own first, like, oh, mommy actually really like Blackpink because I think they're so hot and energetic. Yeah, so it's an opinion, right? But on some days I might feel a bit vexed and I would prefer something more calm, more relaxing, like piano music. How about you? Right? Which is your favorite song? Why? So they are able to then answer these questions during an oral examination because they are doing it consistently. And I think there is also, this is also a trend because in Sec 1, they are required to do expository writing, argumentative writing, and it requires them to have an opinion, not just, memorize textbook and be a good student. Yes, teacher, no teacher, okay, teacher, and memorize, right? So my girl, she is in the debate club now. And I feel that it is really helping her to speak up, to have an opinion. She'll come back and tell me, mommy, the girls in my club, they speak so loudly, and they're very confident, and they speak so well. So I think environment plays a part. Yes, so just speaking twice a week, getting that kind of exposure also helps. So on YouTube, there are some good debate videos as well. They can also watch that.
Yes, I totally agree with you on the points of environments play a part. And I think if you look back for primary school children, besides studying in school, the next environment that they are in is home. Yeah, so I always believe that, this is just my opinion, and I always believe that confident parents will also, when you see a confident parent, you will also see a confident child. Just like when you see a happy parent, you will naturally see that the child is happy as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that confidence also comes from the parents, meaning that when you see a child being very happy, like in your child case, very confident, and now we're looking at you, mommy, you're also very confident. So I'm not surprised that she's confident as well.
But every child is different. Every child is different.
Yeah.
Even if mommy might be confident, right?
Yeah. But I think having a role model, because now I know why I said that, because I think children also learn by role modeling. Yeah. So if the mom is confident or that is actually very vocal, the child in the family tend to role model after them in a sense. Yeah. So I think we have come to the last part of the sharing. So what would be the biggest takeaway for the parents, in your opinion? Like, with 4 months away, got oral lah, got exam papers lah, got essay writing lah. Oh my gosh, you see,
so many components.
Yeah, so many components. And I think I start to interview you as a parent, as an anxious parent. Oh my God, help me.
Like Rome wasn't built in a day. So I think consistency is key. There really isn't that much that you can lump all together and do in the last lap. But if we have been working consistently with our children since last year, since they start primary school, and even for parents who might not be so on the ball with their academics, maybe either they don't have the time or they might not know how to. The fact that you are being present in their lives counts for a lot. Yes. So I think if you really need help, or you want, if you do want an evaluation of your child's standing currently 4 months away from the exam, please, you can reach out to me. I will assess your child and then give you feedback, and this will be complimentary. It will be a short 15 to 20 minutes. And sometimes I tell parents, actually, it's not for your child, it's for you, to give you a peace of mind because they're more kanchong than their children.
I agree.
So-
I'm more kanchong than and I think I'm more kanchong than or anxious than my girl.
Yes. And it helps, right? If your child is actually there and a teacher tells you, John, your girl is okay, she's there, she's minimally an A or a B, it gives you, it lessens the burden and the anxiety as well. So I think on my part as a professional, this is a way that I support parents, right? It's not that after the complimentary session that you will have to sign up with me. For me, I see it as doing good, right? To reassure parents and students and to highlight areas for improvement, which parents can help. I think as a person, then I'm helping people too. And I see value in that.
Sure. Did I hear that it's complimentary for LOB parents?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so parents, if you think that you like what Felicia is doing, and you want to get her to assess your child so that you can have peace of mind as well, you can contact her at what number?
I have to add my number on Facebook Live. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And no problem. It's also on my Facebook actually. 9645-1257.
Okay, hold on. Just let me just type in. I will also put inside the Facebook main post. Say again.
9645-1257.
1257. 9645 1257. Okay. Okay, parents, please code LOB so that Felicia knows that you are from this, and then she won't charge you for the complimentary assessment. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Felicia, I think we come to the end of sharing. Thanks so much for sharing the PETS method. And parents, if you have anything you want to add on, just feel free to put in the comment box and then tag. No, I think you put there, we'll know that there's a comment, and then we'll just go and take a look. Okay. Okay, Felicia, thanks so much for being here, and I really appreciate your time. Yeah.
Really appreciate your time too. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, I think after every session with you, I find that my Angmo is better now. My English is better.
Thank you for your compliments. I try.
Can. Okay, parents, all the best for your SA1, because for my girl, she's having her English essay exam tomorrow. I think so. I can't remember also. Yeah. Oh, I can see your son. Hi.
Hello.
Okay.
Coach John.
Hello, Coach John.
Hello. Wrong is Coco John.
Coco John. Wow.
Yeah, see, cannot tell lies. Yeah. Okay, now your mommy can go off. Next is you. Yeah, because I heard from your mommy you're a very smart boy, so I want to interview you.
Yeah. Can we interview you?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Are we
for the...
offline yet?
No, we are not. Yeah,
Oh, we're still online. Okay.
Yeah. The chair next to you, is it the chair?
No, that's my husband.
Oh, never mind. Maybe the next time can interview the husband.
You want to see Zeze? Shall we go offline first?
Yeah, we go offline. Okay, parents, sorry. This is where I meet my ex-student.
Our personal chat.
Yeah. Okay, so hold on for a while. Okay, parents, bye. All the best and have a good long weekend.
Bye.
Long weekend.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. Hold on. Give me hold on first one. It's still live stream now. Okay. Bye bye.